It's been 22 years since the worst terrorist attack on the U.S. We'll have that exclusive interview with a first responder who was at Ground Zero and is currently a TCC police officer. That exclusive interview is coming up shortly. You don't want to miss it. Good afternoon and thanks for joining the Newsfeed at 4. I'm Bronwyn Beasley. As part of a new educational program, TCC is providing a platform for students to learn and develop the skills needed to find employment in the film industry. The Fort Worth Film Collaborative is a workforce development certification program to address the growing need for trained film industry crew in our area. It provides students a pathway to employment. Classes begin this month with 3 certificates available. As you see, the website is located on the screen if you would like more information. TCC is the first higher education institution in the United States to receive the FBI Law Enforcement Executive Development Association Trilogy Hall of Fame Award. It was presented on August 25th, recognizing agencies whose entire command staff have completed the FBI Leadership Series. Receiving this award is an accomplishment that recognizes the hard work and daily accomplishments of the Academy, said Damon Ng, lead coordinator with the Public Safety Training Center. Everyone here at the Newsfeed would also like to say congratulations. This past Monday marked 22 years when the United States fell victim to 4 coordinated suicide terrorist attacks we all know as 9/11. The victims, survivors, and first responders will never be forgotten. Today, TCC says thank you to our very own Corporal Seth Cruz, who lived and worked in New York on this tragic day.
It was a difficult and trying and emotional time. My son was born, my youngest son, Austin, was born November of that year, and I didn't really get to see my newborn son. And then I got to, only when I get home, he would be sleeping, I'd get to see him, and then straight to bed, because I'd had to be back at the station the following evening at 6 p.m. So those first few months, I really didn't get to see a lot of the things that parents are accustomed to with their young infant children. And it was just an emotionally draining time, and it took a toll on my body. The awesome unity and the way police officers gathered together and encouraged one another, and even across the agencies with firefighters, and it was just a really beautiful thing to see as the agencies came together to serve one another, to serve the city, the people of New York. And every once in a while, when you would report to duty, there would be people that would be clapping, and it felt good. And so I felt that there was a reward from a sense of appreciation and affirmation of the work that we were doing. And I'll never forget that, as long as I live, the kind of gratitude that I felt from the New Yorkers. And oftentimes New Yorkers get a bad rap as being high-strung and rude and agenda orientated and always running from here and there, and it's true most of the time, but New Yorkers do have a heart, and they do care for one another, and I got to see the soft underbelly of the city of New York and the citizens of the greatest city in the world, and a police department that I served for over 20 years. And so even today, just recently, with the anniversary of 9/11, it still evokes feelings of anger, of frustration, of sadness, a whole mix of emotions. But yet I am very, very happy that I had the opportunity to serve during that time, to serve the people of New York, and to serve my fellow officers, many of whom are still currently working. I took a 20-year service retirement, and I relocated to the wonderful state of Texas to find a quality of life so that my sons, who are all in college, I'm having a great time here serving the Tarrant County College Police Department and the wonderful students and the faculty and the staff of this great academic institution. And I'm looking forward to continue to serve with distinction and to serve the wonderful people around me. And it's those are the story. That's my story about 9/11. A somber moment in American history, but yet we were able to come together and help one another and be the people that we always want to be. Americans, proud of being in the uniform and the NYPD and being here. It's just it's my life call and my passion, and I really enjoy it.
I am so glad you ladies are here. You each have your own rooms.
Thank you.
Is it okay to call you Mom?
Of course you can.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Need a ride? Yeah!
Driving with kids is a big responsibility.
Hop in and buckle up!
So don't sweat the small stuff.
You got paint all over our paper!
Get the big stuff right instead.
What does that mean?
Like making sure your kids are in the correct car seat and buckled up for safer travel.
That deserves a wiggly wiggly wig.
To make sure your child is in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the-right seat.
Republican presidential hopeful Nikki Haley gave a preview of the hardline approach she'd take against China if she were to win the White House.
China's been practically preparing for war with us for years. Yes, I view China as an enemy. How much more has to happen for Biden to realize you don't send cabinet members over to China to appease them? You start getting serious with China and say we're not going to put up with it.
Haley is a former United Nations ambassador and South Carolina governor. Her comments come while President Biden is in Asia trying to secure stronger diplomatic, military, and economic ties with a network of allies and partners in response to China's increasingly aggressive military and economic posture. Strong reactions are pouring in after a Seattle police officer said a woman killed in a crash had limited value. Natalie Swaby has more on how the community is responding.
I think she went up on the hood, hit the windshield, then when he hit the brakes, flew off the car. But she is dead.
A day after the release of Seattle police body-worn camera video, there are strong reactions.
I'm angry and disappointed to hear the way that this detective talked about a fatal collision.
That's what Councilmember Lisa Herbold had to say today at City Hall. And in a statement, the co-chairs of the Community Police Commission said it was heartbreaking and shockingly insensitive. The commission says the video captures the voice of Detective Daniel Otterer, the vice president of the Seattle Police Officers Guild, talking on a telephone call reportedly to union president Mike Solon. The union did not immediately return calls for a comment about the one side of the conversation that can be heard on this January 24th recording.
No, it's a regular person.
The call happened one day after 23-year-old John V. Kandula was struck and killed by another officer's squad car while that officer was responding to an emergency call. At one point, the detective appears to talk about what might happen if the victim's family sued the department.
Yeah, just write a check. Just... Yeah, $11,000. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value.
The recorded conversation is sparking new comments today at City Hall.
Detective Otterer was laughing at Janavi's death.
Seattle police say someone in the department saw the video and reported it.
As horrifying as this conversation was to hear, I want to also say that I'm thankful to police department employees who discovered this and appropriately escalated these comments through their chain of command to the chief's office.
7 people, including a number of Americans, are recovering after gunfire erupted in Miguel Alemán on the southern Texas-Mexico border. Border Patrol agents say the victims crossed into Roma, Texas, and received medical attention. They say the group included Americans and a Mexican citizen. Investigators say gunmen approached several vehicles carrying 20 people and opened fire. The Mexican government is investigating. It's unclear if anyone is in custody. Coming up, massive flood damage in Massachusetts. I'll have more on how the residents are responding after this.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry, I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/therightseat.
Looks like September is finally bringing a little bit of rain and very, very much low cool temperatures. We are finally out of our triple-digit temperatures. Current conditions, 77 degrees with a 50% chance of rain, cloudy skies, and a high of 80 degrees. Current conditions in our area, Fort Worth currently at 77 degrees, McKinney 76, Longview 77 degrees, Dallas 78, and Seymour 77. Our hour by hour expect nice and clear skies for tonight. 8 p.m. 78 degrees, 10 p.m. dropping down to 76 degrees, and by midnight as low as 73 degrees. For our weekend forecast, expect a 50% chance of thunderstorms for Friday with a chilly 67 degrees and a high of 81 degrees. Saturday, 40% chance of rain with a low of 65 and a high of 85 degrees. Sunday, partially cloudy with a low of 65 and a high of 87 degrees. For our 5-day forecast next week, for Monday, bright and sunny day with a chilly 66 degrees and a high of 88 degrees. For Tuesday, partially cloudy with a low of 71 degrees and a high of 91. Wednesday, a low of 72 and a high of 90. Thursday, partially cloudy with a low of 71 degrees and a high of 91 degrees. Friday, as low as 70 degrees, partially cloudy, and a high of 88 degrees.
Thanks, Victor. It's finally starting to feel like fall. Speaking of rain, there was major damage and flooding in Leominster, Massachusetts, including a large sinkhole. Other streets have been washed away and at least one house has collapsed. City officials say numerous streets and schools will be closed with residents evacuating the area.
Divers went into the Nashua River to see if the supports underneath this bridge and several others might have been damaged by the raging floodwaters.
It's pretty devastating all over.
The flood also poured across this bridge, then made a left-hand turn into this Cadillac dealership where 3 brand new cars were parked in the front lot.
Just totally amazing. Never saw anything like it. Never expected that it could happen.
This is what that street looked like last night. At least 9 inches of rain fell during a storm that didn't seem so bad at first.
And then after an hour, and then after the second hour that it kept coming down that fast, I was like, this might be an issue.
At this flea market, the flood tore through the ground floor, scattered sale items in the mud, and ripped off part of the loading dock.
It looks like this entire wall is going to come down.
Business owners in the flea market worry not only about collapse, but also about looters. Police told this man pushing a shopping carriage full of items from the flea market to take them back.
There's not many places like this in the area, and it's a shame. It's an absolute shame.
A Florida business owner is hoping to bounce back after an SUV crashed into a consignment shop. A Good Samaritan managed to get the driver out of the vehicle before it went up into flames. JJ Burton has the dramatic video.
A video of the flames coming from the hood of this red Durango.
Oh my God.
And the voice of the woman recording explains just how intense this scene on Seminole Boulevard got Sunday morning. The man pulling the driver from the Durango was on his way home from work. He got him out just in time because seconds later, the flames tore through the rest of the Durango and the front of Krista Valley's second time around consignment shop. It happened around 4 a.m. Krista was home sleeping when she got the alert from her alarm company.
I checked all my cameras, everything looked fine, and I went back to sleep and then woke up about 6 with lots of missed calls from sheriffs letting me know that a car had crashed into my shop.
The Durango, the driver, and the Good Samaritan were all gone by the time she arrived. However, the damage wasn't.
It was a nightmare.
The Durango took out a concrete beam, crashed through the glass window and door. The impact even took out the glass window and door on the other side of the shop.
I had no idea it would be this bad. There was someone here that was sending me pictures, and the pictures just did not do it justice.
Vendors like Ann Hardenbrook rents a booth here. The concrete beam landed right where her products were set up.
The damage that was done, I mean, everything completely ruined in my booth. And then the store, of course, all the windows gone and the smell.
And with help from the community, they worked around the clock Sunday morning and afternoon to clean up and reopen for business. And Krista is hoping to get new glass windows and doors up by Monday.
This shop is a strong little shop. It's been around for 35 years. So I will be fine.
The 28-year-old driver was taken to the hospital and treated for non-life-threatening injuries and has been booked into the Pinellas County Jail, according to Highway Patrol.
What a scary scene. Glad everyone made it out okay. Coming up in 2 minutes, a new government report doesn't seem to have good news for family incomes. Keep it here.
I tell my son, I love you every single day. Now, my dad has never said that to me. Not because he doesn't love me, but because culturally it wasn't comfortable for him. Now that he's a grandfather, he says, I love you to my son every time he sees him. My advice to all the fathers out there, forget the cultural restrictions. They grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong. Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutVaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
What a way to kick off the NFL season for your Cowboys. A shutout victory over the rival Giants. This is the largest opening game shutout since 1978. The defense took care of business, scoring 2 touchdowns, forcing 3 turnovers, and sacking Daniel Jones 7 times. The boys shift focus to the other New York team as they welcome the Jets for their home opener. The Jets are coming off an impressive overtime victory over Buffalo, but at the cost of losing their MVP quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, for the season with a torn Achilles. Cowboys and Jets, AT&T Stadium, Sunday, 3:25. Across the street, the Rangers have worked their way back into the playoff picture with impressive showings against the A's and Blue Jays. Tonight, they finished the series in Toronto in a battle of 2 wildcard teams. The Rangers have closed the gap for the first place with only 17 games remaining. Rangers and Jays, Game 4 tonight. The playoff push is on. The Texas Longhorns went to Tuscaloosa and brought back a big win over Alabama. This week, Texas hosts 2-0 Wyoming. Other games to watch: North Texas plays Louisiana Tech, with TCU heading to Houston, and the 2-0 Tarleton State takes on Texas Tech. And that's your Timeline Sports.
Thanks, Joel. Some disturbing economic news. A new government report shows family incomes are falling. They've dropped for the 3rd year in a row. The Census Bureau found the average family income in 2022 was $74,580. That's a 2.3% drop from 2021. Analysts say rising prices are likely to blame. Inflation hit a 40-year high last summer. The record temperatures in Texas have prompted the Energy Department to declare a power emergency. The order allows Texas power plants to surpass pollution limits through tomorrow night. That's in an effort to meet the abnormally high demand for electricity. ERCOT oversees the electric grid for most of Texas. It filed the emergency order request after warning of potential rolling outages to meet demand. As of tomorrow morning, ERCOT's website indicated the outages might not be necessary. Breaking a glass ceiling with some heavy lifting. That's exactly what a 13-year-old girl from Nebraska has done. She is a champion weightlifter, and she credits her parents for all her success. Jonah Gilmore has her story.
Inside this gym,
it's hard.
There's some heavy lifting going on.
It doesn't come easy at first.
And for 13-year-old Chastity Del Balso, this is light work.
I got involved with my dad. He was in weightlifting meets and everything, and I just got influenced by it.
Chastity not only lifts, she competes in the USA Weightlifting Championship. The banners hanging on the wall inside Conqueror Weightlifting are proof of her abilities.
I participated in the Youth National Championship. I was 64 plus and 13 under, and I won first place.
It's the second time Chastity has competed on a national stage, taking the top honor. Dad and coach CJ Del Balso says it's an accomplishment he's been preparing her for since she was 4.
It's good to see those efforts pay off, and then her applying it on big stages, you know, winning national championships and performing under pressure and performing well when she needs to do it most. So it's very exciting and rewarding as a coach.
He says it's a lot of fun watching his child enjoy a sport he loves.
I definitely have to push her at times, you know, just like any young kid. Sometimes they don't feel like training. But she liked the results of the competition, so that was kind of the motivator, is if you want to do these meets, you have to do the preparation.
That preparation has Chastity lifting 132 pounds in her snatch.
A snatch is where you go like this, and you're like this, and you go all the way down.
When it comes to her clean and jerk, she can lift 172 pounds.
There's a lot of people like crowding you and all of that, and there's a lot of pressure on you. Also, when you win, it feels really great, but if you lose, you'll know next time what to do.
Deadlifts are not a part of the competition, but her personal best is 264.
She's currently the #1 ranked lifter in the United States for her age and weight category.
Chastity considers herself an all-around athlete and participates in school sports when she's not lifting. And even at school, her strength is on display.
When the teachers like tell me to do something or pick this up, they're always like, "Oh my gosh, Chastity, you're so strong." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I am. I do live."
She credits her mom and dad for getting her to this point.
Also just a blessing from God.
And hopes to inspire other kids her age. Proving heavy is a mindset, and all you have to do is dream big and lift.
You just have to get into it and you'll do it.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Yo, camping buddy. Boom. Hey, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
We all know what it's like to feel alone. But it just takes one new connection. Want to get out of here? To empower many.
This is unbelievable.
It doesn't take a superhero to bring forces together. We all have the power to reach out.
Let's go!
And help someone feel like they belong.
Pretty cool, huh?
We are stronger together.
Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. As veterans, we can tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. But you've never been interested in easy. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
A little girl near Montgomery, Alabama says a donation made her birthday extra happy. It's not something she received, but rather something she gave. Julia Avant reports.
Meet Libby Barrett. She's a 3rd grader at Prattville Elementary School, and she just turned 8 years old. Typically, kids want new toys to celebrate their birthdays, but when Barrett was given $550, she gave it all away.
I really wanted these kids in this class to be really happy.
She used all her birthday money to help students in her school's special education program. She bought new toys, bean bags, cleaning supplies, and a brand new ABC rug.
Oh, we were excited because we don't have, the mats and stuff, so the rugs really help.
And Libby shared the happiness with her class, too. Both classes played together.
That is how we S-T-A-Y.
And chanted as one big family.
And the way that they're bonding with my class, that's just making my heart fill up with joy.
Her parents are blown away with their daughter's decision, and even they learned a valuable lesson.
There's a lesson not for just that generation, but our generation in all this. If 8-year-olds can think this way, why can't we think this way? Why can't 40-somethings and 50-somethings think this way?
You give to people, it makes them so happy, and you will feel much happier. You won't feel grumpy. You'll feel happy if you give and you don't receive.
Thank you for joining us. Have a great night and great weekend. We'll see you next week.